things that we had mentioned is that you're trying to combine exercises so that you're actually trying to save time and be efficient. And to be honest, a lot of this stuff, this kind of concept of constructing exercise this way, this started back in the 90s. It really started to take off. And it was by an individual up in Waterloo, Canada, Stuart McGill. Have any guys ever heard of Stuart McGill? One nodding head. Well, different McGill, but there's McGill University up there as well. But yeah, exactly. But Stuart McGill is up there in University of Waterloo. He's not a therapist. Okay? He is an engineer. And what he does, he started out making a model of the spine. Okay? He started out with pigs and started building. He turned it into this great big thing. EMG model, fed data in it. It was a great big mathematical model. But what he started to do was he got a name for himself, a big following in the PT world through the 90s and obviously in the years that followed. But what he came up with was there are certain types of exercises that are going to be great for people with certain types of problems. And typically what they find is that he tried to focus his exercises to have kind of a core component that worked on isometrics. Okay? And from that isometric consideration, the idea is that it decreases shear forces at the intervertebral segments. Okay? And typically people who had back problems had problems with shear. Okay? So by working toward co-contraction and isometrics within the core and decreasing shear, he then took it to the next step to try to say, and now what can we do to try to get EMG activity as high as possible out in the periphery? And quite often you want it to work through dynamic type of exercises. So you had this kind of core stability with movement of the various appendages. Make sense? And it's not to say that there's the perfect exercise for every individual, but it has to be tailored for those individuals, right? And so he actually came up with kind of a standard list of things that work best for a lot of people. And has anyone ever heard of some of what those exercises are? Does anyone know what they might be? Since you already nodded your head. Any ideas? We've got somebody in class who's named after one.
Tabletop, like extending your leg, arm.
Want to add to it?
Etc.
The Thomas, well, it's not quite the Thomas test. It's better than that. And he doesn't even know that he's a celebrity. Where is it? There it is.
The plank.
The plank. Yeah. See, Stu was talking about Wes over here, okay? So, well, what is the plank exercise, guys? What do you do? Yeah, you can see someone on their elbows, okay, and toes, and the person is trying to maintain a nice, steady spine, okay? And there's an isometric contraction there. And then he has various derivations, and you've probably seen this with the person who does what? From starting on both arms, guess what they start to do then?
Side plank.
And they go up to the long, and then they also start to then move out onto one limb like this, right? So I am going to go ahead and get motion involved. I have to keep my spine very steady. And what he was trying to accomplish there was, what can I do to decrease all these shear forces related to the spine, but maximize isometric, well, the EMG activity of certain muscles out in the periphery. And by doing some of the isometric contractions in and around the spine, his concept was, well, if you know a muscle is overly stretched, okay, too long, it should what? Isometrically be contracted close to a shorter position, right? So you're more balanced. And if you have a muscle that is too short, you will want to be doing some type of core exercise for that that would be contracting in what? The lengthened position, okay? So that's what he was trying to push forward with this. And we actually we'll take a look at some of his exercises in, lab as well from YouTube, for Wednesday. But that's one of the big things that kind of started this push to kind of be as efficient as possible. Make sense? So what you've been given are bits and pieces of various types of problems that patients can, encounter. Some more common than others. But the idea is that you as individuals and in groups should be able to try to work at some way of combining these things and packaging them. Make sense? So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have for groups 1, 2, and 3. Okay? And you guys, where's group 1? Let's see what you all came up with.